In the opulent city of London, 1885, two individuals from different walks of life lived parallel lives, unaware that their paths would soon cross in a most unexpected way. Emily Fanshawe was a beautiful and intelligent young woman, born into a family of modest means. She had grown up with a passion for literature and music, often sneaking away to the city's libraries and concert halls to indulge her love of art. Emily's life was one of quiet simplicity, surrounded by the familiar comforts of her small townhouse in Mayfair. Across town, in the heart of the city, lived the enigmatic and charismatic Julian St. Clair. A wealthy businessman with a reputation for being ruthless in his pursuit of success, Julian had built his empire through cunning and determination. His life was one of luxury and excess, with a constant stream of admirers vying for his attention. One fateful evening, at a high-stakes poker game hosted by the infamous Lord Harrington, Emily's brother James made a bold wager against Julian. The bet? To win the heart of the lovely Miss Fanshawe within 6 weeks. The stakes were high. If Julian succeeded, he would claim a substantial sum from James, but if he failed, he would have to donate a significant portion of his wealth to Emily's favorite charity. The game was set in motion, and the two parties agreed on the terms. Little did they know that their lives were about to become intertwined in ways neither could have imagined. As fate would have it, Julian and Emily first met at Lord Harrington's estate, where James had invited her to a charity gala. Julian, ever the gentleman, was immediately drawn to Emily's intelligence and wit, but his intentions were far from pure. He saw an opportunity to win the bet and, with it, a chance to prove himself as a master of seduction. Their initial encounter was nothing short of awkward, with Julian making a clumsy attempt at charming Emily while James looked on, nervously aware of the wager that hung over their heads. Despite the tension, Emily couldn't help but be intrigued by the charismatic businessman, and Julian, sensing an opportunity, began to weave his spell around her. As the days turned into weeks, Julian made it a point to attend various social events where he knew Emily would be in attendance. He showered her with attention, buying her books and tickets to concerts, and even offering to escort her to exclusive gatherings. Emily, though initially hesitant, found herself growing accustomed to Julian's presence and began to see beyond his initial arrogance. Through shared experiences, they discovered a deep connection that went beyond mere acquaintanceship. They discussed literature, music, and art, finding common ground in their love of the finer things in life. As the weeks passed, Emily found herself falling for the charming businessman, despite her better judgment. Julian, too, was smitten, but his motivations were still rooted in the bet. He convinced himself that he could win Emily's heart without truly understanding what it meant to be vulnerable and genuine. Little did he know that their relationship would soon be put to the test by external pressures and personal flaws. As the 6-week deadline loomed closer, tensions began to rise between Julian and Emily. She started to feel suffocated by his constant pursuit of her, sensing that he was more interested in winning the bet than genuinely connecting with her. Meanwhile, Julian's friends and acquaintances began to question his motives, wondering if he truly cared for Emily or merely saw her as a means to an end. The final blow came when James revealed the true nature of the wager to Emily, leaving her feeling betrayed and confused. She realized that she had been playing into Julian's hands all along, and the thought of being nothing more than a prize to be won was too much to bear. As the clock struck midnight on the final night of the bet, Julian arrived at Emily's doorstep, determined to win her heart once and for all. But instead of the usual charm and wit, he found himself facing a woman who had been hurt by his actions. In a moment of raw honesty, Julian confessed that he had been blinded by his own ambition and had never truly understood what it meant to love someone. Emily, seeing the genuine remorse in his eyes, began to question her own feelings for him. As they stood there, locked in a silent understanding, the stakes of the bet seemed to fade into insignificance. What mattered most was the connection they shared, the love that had grown between them despite the external pressures and personal flaws. In the end, Julian emerged victorious, not because he won Emily's heart, but because he finally understood what it meant to truly love her. The wager, which had once seemed so important, became nothing more than a distant memory as they embarked on a new journey together. As they walked hand in hand through the moonlit streets of London, Emily turned to Julian and smiled. "I never thought I'd say this," she said, "but I'm glad you won that bet." Julian's eyes sparkled with understanding. "Me too, my dear. Me too."